According to people familiar with the discussions, a high-ranking official of the U.S. Finance Ministry is going to visit Turkey next week for negotiations on American sanctions against Russian organizations and the illegal activities of the Palestinian militant group Hamas. It is expected that the Deputy Minister of Finance for Combating Terrorism and Financial Intelligence, Brian Nelson, will meet with his Turkish colleagues during his second visit to Ankara this year, the sources said, asking not to be named, citing the sensitivity of the issue. According to sources, Nelson will demand from Turkey the observance of unilateral U.S. sanctions against a number of Russian organizations and the financial activities of Hamas. Last month, the U.S. Treasury expanded the list of persons subject to sanctions in Turkey, who, according to it, served as cover for Hamas, recognized by the U.S. and the European Union as a terrorist organization. Washington imposed sanctions on about a dozen Turkish companies and some private individuals for managing an investment portfolio on behalf of Hamas or for helping Russia evade sanctions. According to sources, the USA has also warned a number of Turkish companies about possible sanctions that may disrupt their ties with the Western financial system. The Trend Gayrimenkul Yatırım Ortaklığı real estate investment fund, listed on the Turkish stock exchange, was included in the investment portfolio of the Palestinian militant group last year. The USA stated that the REIT is a key component of the global assets of Hamas. Some of the company's shareholders were recently sanctioned for allegedly supporting the militant group. The shares of the company grew by more than 30% in Istanbul trading this year, which corresponds to the local index of its analogs. Nelson's visit highlights the new problems facing the already strained relations between Turkey and the USA. The Turkish government does not consider Hamas a terrorist organization, and President Recep Tayyip Erdogan recently called this group an organization fighting for the liberation of the Palestinian people. Turkey seeks to restore relations with Washington and enlist the support of President Joe Biden for the purchase of F-16 combat aircraft and the renewal of the existing fleet. Washington is also concerned about Turkey's refusal to join the unilateral sanctions imposed by the United States against Russian ships entering Turkish ports and Russian airlines receiving ground services at Turkish airports, sources said. Turkey, which implements UN sanctions against Russia, refuses to join the unilateral punitive actions announced by the USA and the EU on the grounds that this will complicate its self-proclaimed mediation efforts between Russia and Ukraine. Nevertheless, Turkey has taken some steps to ease the West's concern. In March, it stopped the transit of goods subject to EU and US sanctions to Russia, although this decision was not announced publicly.